I had to drink me some water. This might be a long video. Hopefully, this video comes out good. I did some editing with my mic. I changed some software around and stuff like that. So hopefully I sound better in my videos here on out. I still gotta get a mic stand though. So hopefully you don't hear me breathing loud and shit. People think I got health problems and shit, but in reality, this mic picks up the smallest sound. But the reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to talk more about Sodom and Gomorrah. What people, well, a lot of people, I'm not going to say everybody, you don't realize is that Sodom and Gomorrah were two different places that were destroyed at the same time. Now, what people don't understand is that both Sodom and Gomorrah had their own different type of sin. So we're going to get into this, okay? Now, we learn about Sodom and Gomorrah in the book of Genesis with Abraham and Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham who dwelled in Sodom, okay? Now, this ties into everything I've been telling y'all how the book is intended for man. So if we go to Genesis 13 and 10, right? And it reads, Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan toward Zorah was well watered, like the garden of God. Excuse me, I'm not editing this out. Like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. Hopefully, what I said to y'all was clear. So, when we look at the map today of the Middle East, and we look at Jordan, and we look around the Dead Sea and all those other places, they're a desert. It's a desert. You have to understand that before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, that whole region was watered like a garden. So it was a lot of trees and vegetation growing in that region. But today, it's nothing but salt, dust, ashes. It comes from when the Lord destroyed Sodom. Now, to piggyback on my previous videos when I was explaining how the book is intended for man and how in a lot of Bible translations they take the word man out. It's chilly in here, excuse me. If we go to Genesis 13 and 13, it says the men of Sodom were wicked. The men. Again, this is showing further proof that when God had the book written, it was intended for men. Because man was made in the image of the Lord. Alright. It's chilly. It's real chilly in here. So let's get into this. What was the sins of Sodom? Okay. Many people will say that homosexuality was like the biggest sin of Sodom being destroyed, which part of that is true. And if we scroll up, right, we can go to Genesis 19 and 4. Before the guests went to bed, the men of Sodom surrounded the house. All the men of the city, both young and old, were there. They called out to Lot and asked, "Where are the men who came to stay with you tonight? Bring them out to us." The men of Sodom wanted to have sex with them. So, as you can see right here, the men of Sodom, they wanted to have sex with these angels that the Lord has sent. So that's where you get the whole sodomy from, committing sodomy, because these men wanted to have sex with God angels, which is wicked. All right, let's keep going though. Let's go to Ezekiel 16 and 49. One of the main reasons why Sodom was destroyed. Now remember, I want you to pay attention to this. If we go back to Genesis 13, God already had it in his mind that he was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so that was way before the man wanted to have sex with the Lord angels. Now, if we go to Ezekiel 16 and 49, and this is why I say it's important to read the entire book, because God leaves clues and stuff in other scriptures just to see if you actually paying attention. Ezekiel 16 and 49. Now this was their sin. Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor or the needy, and the needy. So pretty much one of the sins of Sodom, or these sins, were pride, gluttony. I just made a video about that with Dame Drops the other day. So pride and gluttony were one. Laziness, okay, and people not looking out for one another. All the things you see going on in America today, right? You got people who overeat. Obesity is the highest in America. A lot of people in America are overweight. A lot of people in America are lazy. They don't like to work. They like to sit back and collect Section 8. They full of pride. You look at the streets and stuff, it's a lot of poor people on the streets. These were one of the reasons why the Lord destroyed Sodom. Now, let's get to Gomorrah. Because, like I said before, the sin of Gomorrah was different from Sodom. Let's go to Jeremiah 23 and 14. And it reads, "And among the prophets of Jerusalem, which is the capital of Judah, I have seen something horrible. They commit adultery and live a lie. They strengthen the hands of evildoers so that not one of them turns from their wickedness. They are like Sodom to me. The people of Jerusalem are like Gomorrah." So pay attention to this. So the people of Jerusalem are like Gomorrah. Okay. In Gomorrah, you had people who were worshiping false gods. They were doing a lot of idol worship. Again, this is what y'all doing today when you worship JC. And for those that don't know who JC is, the letter J and the letter C, that is Christ, who is an idol. You see, you are only supposed to worship the God of heaven. That's it. You are not supposed to worship angels. Okay? You are not supposed to worship yourself. That is when pride kicks in. You're not supposed to worship statues or symbols. Many of you do. The people of Jerusalem, the prophets, they were liars. They lied to the people. They were false prophets who made false claims. And people in Gomorrah was lying to each other. And this all goes back to why the Lord told Moses the Ten Commandments, because when you look at the Ten Commandments, these are all the things that they were doing in Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, if you've been following me for a long time on this channel, for those that didn't know, the people living in Sodom and Gomorrah were the Canaanites. The Canaanites. So God of heaven has a long history with these inhabitants of that land. Just so y'all know. All right. Now, to go back to Genesis 13, right? Before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he said it was like the garden of the Lord. This goes back into what I was trying to tell y'all, Judah, about the land promised to Abraham. Some refer to it as the Fertile Crescent. So at one point in time, this entire region was like a garden. It flowed with vegetation. This is why the Lord referred to it as the land flowing with milk and honey. This is all making sense to y'all. So as you can see, here go the Dead Sea right here. You look at it today, it's a desert. There's nobody living over there. I also want you to know it's the lowest place on earth that you can visit. I'm not saying it's the deepest point in the earth. I'm saying it's the lowest place on earth you can visit, because the Lord rained down sulfur. Some of you refer to it as brimstone. And the impact was so great that it put a dent in the earth. So again, this plays a part to America. And the reason I say this is simple. I told y'all this before. If you actually just pay attention, especially when it comes to sporting events, like big sporting events, they always have a quote unquote black person singing the national anthem. When your children get ready to graduate and all that, they always tell them to rise and sing the national anthem. Because when you do things like this, you are telling God that you okay living in this slavery. You okay being a slave. This is what you're telling the God of heaven. So when you sing this, right, and you saying God bless America and all that type of stuff, he's not in a hurry to help you. What y'all don't understand is this, right? God is not, how can I put this? Y'all waiting on God to come save y'all. But God is waiting for you to wake up and come back to him. That's what y'all not understanding. And I've stated this before. God is already here. He's already here. So when people say, where God at? He's already here. That's why it's important for y'all to read. Hope y'all enjoy this video. I'm out.